Hi, good morning or good afternoon.
Good
Hello,
afternoon,
hello.
Anna. Good afternoon,
Hey,
everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
still looks like morning outside, so
It's cold, Anna.
it is. I know I have my sweatshirt on and tea. I'm glad I'm working from home today, so I'm grateful for that. Are you at the office, Laura? Are you do you work from home at all anymore?
Yes, me and Charles do.
Mm.
We work from home, but we was out with our outreach team today, visiting
Okay,
different end camps. People that's homeless, giving them blankets and water and stuff out there. So it was real neat to do that. It make you appreciate life more.
absolutely. That's wonderful. And Miss Charles, are you on?
Yep.
Yes, I am here. I'm here. Give me 1 second. Trying to get my camera together.
Share my screen. We still have a couple minutes till we officially start. Anybody wants to go ahead and start entering their icebreaker? Laura came up with a great one for this month. So if you were coming out on stage, what would your entrance theme song be? Oh, I'm excited to see what everybody says. And Laura, do you have your song picked out?
Well, I like Rick Ross, so it'd be Hustle Hard.
So, and anybody want to come unmiked and share what your theme song would be? The group.
See, for mine, my theme song changes every time I find a new song. This summer, I found another song called Steppers by Yo Gotti. That's my theme song for this week. So, yeah.
Oh, write them in the chat if you don't mind too. So maybe we put a soundtrack between this and the one we had a few months ago. Aurelia is out teaching at a school this week, so Aurelia Johnson, who's part of our planning team, she won't be able to join us today. Aisha is out today. Do you see anybody else from our planning team, Lauren?
No, I was looking for Jadine and Atasha.
I'm
Uh,
here. Hi,
oh,
guys. Good
okay.
afternoon.
Good
Hi,
afternoon,
Tasha.
Atasha.
Right there.
Okay, so we are going ahead. If you want to put in your chat, also if you put your name and organization, we do track it by emails, but if you want to put your name and organization in case anybody wants to reach out, that would be great. And then also our icebreaker this month is if you were coming out on stage, what would your entrance theme song be? Looks like we have Sun Comes Up by Rudimental and Celebration by Kool and the Gang. Oh, that's okay. All I Do Is Win by T-Pain. think I'm right.
Yeah, Good Morning by Kanye West, Anna.
Awesome.
Natasha said, I'm going to stick with the girl on fire by Alicia Keys.
That song came to my mind, and I'm Every Woman.
And then you
That's
got
a good
Sadie, Smooth Operator. That's a nice song. Smooth Operator.
Ooh, that's with us today. Good to see everyone. So, this party started by Pink. Thunder by Imagine Dragons.
Oh, Stephanie said Pure Honey. Did you say that one, Anna?
I see a lot of people are typing in, so I'm not keeping. Yeah, you.
Pure
Someone
Honey by
might too if you were-
Beyonce. And then All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled.
Okay. Awesome. Well, keep them coming. Write them down. And maybe we're going to get to it later what we're doing in December, but that might be a good chance for we can have a soundtrack of all of our theme songs to get us motivated for the new year also. So those of you that have just joined in, thank you all for joining us at our monthly Foster Youth Collaborative meeting for November. My name is Anna Cluth. I'm a senior planner here at Workforce Solutions. And ooh, another girl on fire. I'll let the other planning team or committee team members introduce themselves, and then we will get started.
Good afternoon,
Hi
everyone.
there.
I'm Laura Banks. I'm an associate of youth programs at the Coalition for the Homeless. Nice to meet you all.
Hi there. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Natasha Kelly Harris, founder and CEO of Family Roots for Life Incorporated. I'm glad to meet you all as well.
Not sure if anybody else was able to join us. Janine. We'll just keep moving. So each month we like to have a guest speaker share with us their lived experience, positive, negative, success, how they came to be the person they are today. And we are very lucky this month to have Charles Manning. And he was referred to be a speaker by Laura. So Laura actually works with Charles. And Laura, I don't know if you'd like to say a couple of words before Charles gets started.
I just think Charles is a phenomenal young man. When I first came to the coalition, he greeted me with open arms. And since I've been there, he's been a phenomenal teammate. So I wanted him to, share his different experiences that he have endured.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you, Charles. And yeah, we're excited to hear from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, Laura, as well for such kind words, of course. It's amazing working with her as well. Did you want me to start now, Anna? I didn't know if
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for lagging as well, you guys. It's the rain, the weather, messing with my internet connection here and everything, but I'm gonna push on through. And good morning, well, good afternoon, everyone. Like they introduced, I'm Charles Manning, coordinator of youth programs here at the Coalition for the Homeless. To start off, my homeless journey actually has been going on my entire life. I just celebrated my 24th birthday on the 29th of October, I'm sorry. And I got my first apartment the year before. So that was literally my first time really being in a stable environment that I created myself. But to give a brief synopsis of my history and everything, I was with my grandmother when I was 3 years old due to family situations and everything like that, but she never wanted to raise any more kids. Mind you, she was already 73 years old when she took me and my sister in. So she already raised kids, grandkids, great grandkids, and did her part already. So it was basically a last minute decision for her to take me and my sister in. But doing so, we never did anything legally or, so it was like we was doing things under the table. We never got emancipated to where we would be going to CPS or anything like that. Since my mom, she technically was still in our life, but it was only there for like funds or just to get money out of us or anything like that. So that was basically the start of my homeless situation from an early age. But my grandmother, of course, she took care of me and my sister, raised us and everything like that. But it was different barriers and everything that I had to go through just to get into school and everything because she wasn't my legal guardian. Or on paper, technically she was my legal guardian, but in all actuality, she wasn't. So that was a bit of a struggle for me. And then going to college and everything like that, that went to have my actual family's history. So like my father's history, he passed away when I was younger. My mother's history, since she's not on paper or anything, everything she did was under the table. It was really hard to really put her down for anything. So that was a very big barrier right there, just for me to get in school. And then for my sister to get in school, it was the same thing because we are 3 years apart. So for her to go to college and everything like that, it was basically biting tooth and nail just to try to get the slightest bit of help within anything. Luckily, she was able to get through, graduate, get her bachelor's degree and everything. So we were able to overcome that. But for me, it seemed like it was a bit more of a struggle because they wanted more information coming from my end, and which made it a bit harder to do student loans and everything like that for the FAFSA with everything like that. So then that leads us going into 2019. Excuse me. My apologies. Um, and so going into 2019, I went to TSU. And so I was going there doing financial aid and everything like that. But since I pay for school out of pocket and I'm an independent student, paying for school out of pocket is very hard. It's very expensive. Even when you have a 4.2 GPA and you are applying to scholarships and everything like that, when nothing is coming through, there's nothing you really else can do. And I did look at resources while I was in school because I knew that I'm paying for school out of pocket by myself. So looking into any type of resource that I can, filling out more scholarships, more loans, this and the third, but nothing is coming through. So what am I supposed to do, right? So then the end of the semester comes, so that's around December. They kicked me out of my apartment December 14th. That was the last day to have money in. I didn't have it. So at that point, I was basically in my car. And so I still wanted to go to school, but I just put it on a back burner because, for one, how am I going to pay for something when I don't even have a place to stay? That's just common sense right there. So in the midst of all of that, I was just looking at other different jobs or anything like that. I was working at the Bush Airport, which I actually stay by now, and then Bath and Body Works at the same time, and then being a full-time college student. So working both jobs, being a full-time college student, and still trying to battle this homelessness that I was already put in, but I didn't even realize that I was homeless until things got harder. And so after December, I stayed with a friend for about a month. So that goes into me couch surfing. And so within that month, it was okay in the beginning, but then towards the end, that's when things started going like bad because the house ended up getting broken into and my things got stolen. So my personal items and everything. And keep in mind, I'm originally from St. Louis. So I packed up my car and literally drove all the way down here to Texas. So everything that I own or to my name was in my car. And then when I was with somebody, I started taking things into the house. So when the house got broke into and my things got stolen, it basically like took all of my personal items and everything like that. And what was the worst part about that entire situation was they believed that I was the reason why the house got broke into. And within that, because they had their own assumptions and everything like that, they kicked me out. And it was literally 3 o'clock in the morning and it was raining. And I had nowhere else to go. But my best friend, who is still my best friend, you guys probably know him, Kendall Easley. He actually let me stay with him and his cousin. He had to fight tooth and nail just to let me stay with him and his cousin in the midst of that. But I was able to stay with them and everything. But it wasn't something that I wanted to do wholeheartedly. Just staying and pillow to post, going this, that, and third, and still sleeping in my car and everything like that. So, because I was sleeping in my car too, after they kicked me out, and then after being at his house, but not trying to overcrowd their place, I was staying in my car and I was right there on Westheimer, literally just finding a little place to hide because my car didn't have any type of tint on it or anything. So, excuse me, had to find like a little place that was in the cut to basically hide and sleep or whatever, And then throughout the day, since my phone ended up getting cut off, I would end up driving to like a McDonald's, Burger King, something that had the nearest Wi-Fi, just so I could check in with like my sisters or something, or check in to like my closest friends, let them know that I did make it through the night, everything is okay. And mind you, I'm still working 2 jobs at this point too. And this is right before the pandemic hit. So I'm doing all of this, battling homelessness, still trying to find a place to stay, still trying to go to work, make sure that my hygiene is good, my mental is okay, even though mentally, I didn't even realize how depressed I really was until I actually came out of that situation. And looking back now, it's just like I was really depressed and really wasn't in the best headspace for myself to even really get as far as I wanted to, if that makes sense. I was basically a distraction to myself and trying to do other things, but I'm getting off tangent. Let me go back. So going to find Wi-Fi and everything like that because it was hard. Your phone is off. Even though I'm working 2 jobs, I still had to pay a car note. So still trying to pay minor bills and still just stay above the water. But in reality, I'm already drowning. And so from that point, in April of 2020, I ended up going back to St. Louis, and that was one of the worst decisions I've ever made. Because literally, as soon as I went back, I got into a car accident, and I actually could have lost my entire life because the impact was on the passenger side, and I wasn't driving at the time. So the impact happened to me, and I was in the hospital. My complete body went numb and everything. And mind you, it was literally not even a full month of me driving back up to St. Louis. So it was literally just like, what else can I do? So I didn't have a car at that point. I did go back to my grandmother's house, but because of my sexuality and everything like that, we haven't always had the best relationship. My family always wanted me to be something that I'm not, and that was just something that I could never get with. And then on top of that, the violence and everything in St. Louis is absolutely horrific. And so staying with her, what was that, 2020, of May all the way up until September 2021. I went back and I started working in pharmacy because I have a medical background. I worked in the medical field for the majority of my adult career life and like end of my high school career. And so this is like a new field for me altogether. But excuse me. So after I went back to St. Louis, I worked in pharmacy for a while, but I knew that that's not what I wanted. And the city was too toxic for me to even thrive in. And I felt as if I was getting stagnant and getting put back into a very bad depressive state. And so I reached back out to the Montrose Center because originally back in 2020, when the pandemic hit and I lost my jobs and everything, I looked into resource housing and everything, but I didn't know of any resources because nothing was really advertised to the youth at that time. And mind you, this is 2020, so I don't know if things were being advertised, but in my own area that I was in predominantly, I didn't really see any resources for homeless youth or anything like that. I really didn't know anybody, but it was just by word of mouth from actually talking to other people that had to go through the same thing that I'm going through, and then actually just sharing my story with people, letting them know like I tried, I've been looking, but nothing's going on. So word of mouth is really what helped me get into my housing program and everything. And so when 2021 of September came back around and everything, and pharmacy at the job I had doing pharmacy at Walmart that were overstressing me, overworking me, using me as tokenism. Like it was so many different red flags that was there. I really couldn't be there. And so I left. And within me leaving, I used my resources that I had down here in Texas, called my Tro Center, um, and that basically was able to help me in everything since I was already coming back down here. And so was able to get my interview and everything like that. And so basically the White Home or the coalition basically helped me get into housing. In other words, like I didn't know anything until actually reaching out to them and actually going through the processes, steps of everything like that. Though I can say some bad things, well, not necessarily bad, but the downfall of the process, then the waiting time, the wait list was absolutely horrific because originally, when I filled out for my housing of April of 2020, I didn't hear anything back from them for about 3 months. Within those 3 months, who knows what could have possibly happened to me. Within those 3 months, something could have happened to my car, which something actually did happen to my car. My health could have been going down even more because I do have underlying health issues. My mental health most definitely was going out of berserk because mentally I wasn't there. Mentally, I was in a survival mode, instinct to try to get everything done. When in reality, I wasn't taking the time out to actually look at how much of an effect it had on my body and my mental health. Because I was depressed beyond compare. I started drinking more, started indulging in different activities that I knew that I wasn't supposed to. But because I was going through all this stress and so many different things, I needed a coping mechanism. And that's why it's like the wait time and the waiting list, that's like I understand that there's a need for it, but in that same breath, it's like the prioritization of it back then, it was not the best, which is why I'm glad that it was a full circle for me, excuse me, to get help from the coalition from the beginning. Well, from when redid my housing assessment and everything in 2021 to now being able to work for the coalition and have a voice within this organization and within the YHDP program, working towards the youth that I just was, trying to get them housed and everything. Like it's a full circle for me. That's like one of the main things that I always tell people when they ask me how was it in my homelessness experience. Sorry, that it wasn't easy, but I do feel as if it's a full circle for me because the problems that I faced, I wouldn't want anyone else to face those problems ever again, which is why I'm so happy that I was able to share my story, but then also be an advocate for the youth and young adults that may not have a voice like I do, or may not want to share their story, or may not even know where to go like I did. Like, but now working with them and knowing that there will be programs and organizations willing to help, yes, I most definitely will tell them like the different barriers and everything. Communication, that was one of the biggest barriers and one of the barriers that I still faced up until at my exiting of my rapid rehousing program. Communication between caseworkers and the client, it should be a clear, concise communication between those to where the client actually understands this is exactly what's going on. This is the process. Like it needs to be a clear, concise between the two. And then also, like I said, the wait time on the waiting list and everything, I understand there's a need for it, but the prioritization for it, which is what we're working on, which I'm super duper happy about. Um, just really prioritizing like who's really doing what or what's actually going on within their situations. Another bad thing, or not bad thing, I keep saying that, something that I didn't like, I should say, was, and something that I do feel as if that we should all continue trying to strive for, is the couch surfing not being called literal homelessness, which I understand that's a HUD definition. But if we all come together collectively to try to change that old policy and everything, then things can be changed because you find more youth and young adults couch surfing than being out on the streets or anything like that. And that's where it's just like where the big numbers are, they're in couch surfing. And me being a young adult and actually going through this and actually talking to people and actually being with people and actually going to couch surfing myself, it's way more prominent there than you would think. And it's just like that's like one of the biggest barriers right there. trying to change that policy right there of what couch surfing literally means, the communication aspect, and then also being able to, excuse me, the what's the word that I'm thinking of? Being able to have that clear, concise relationship within the caseworker and the client. Like they try to make it seem as if they're like mothering the client or fathering the client or whatever, which is understandable. They don't want to have the adultism type of thing pulled over them. But some people need that. Me personally, I like it, but I don't. I like when people actually tell me what it is that I need to do because I live this already and they have the advice for me. But it's in that same breath, it's not do this, do this, do that. And the third, talk to them, have the communication with them, make them feel at ease, have the hard conversations with them that needs to be had, but don't have the trigger words or start triggering them to make it seem as if you're basically being there with an adult. You know, like they're still a person, they still have feelings, they still want to have the communication and actually trust you, because if they wouldn't trust you, they wouldn't be trying to have the conversation with you to try to get them housed to begin with. So there's just some of the things that I've gone through. And that's majority it. Just happy that I'm now being able to work for the coalition and being able to use my voice in more ways than one. Because I can be an advocate for many, many different things, especially with all the experience that I've had and the experience that I'm gaining. Being an advocate for HIV, for homelessness, depression, anxiety, mental health, that's also like one of the main things, which you're going to end up going into more. But mental health is like one of the major things. It took for me to go to a therapist to really understand, like, mentally I was not stable. My depression and anxiety was skyrocketed, which I'm doing way better now. But those are things that people fail to realize and they don't take into consideration when they're going through their homeless situation. They don't take their emotional or their mental health as serious as they should be because they're still in a survival instinct, which is why it's like when you do talk to the client and everything, try to get there. It's not going to be easy for them to get out of survival instinct, but after talking to them and actually understanding where they're coming from, it'll be like a burden lifted off their shoulder to where they don't have to always be in their survival instinct anymore. So thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Charles. There are a lot of kudos. I will copy and paste these so that you can see all the accolades that people are writing. Your story is so important. If there are any questions, Charles, will you take questions from anybody who might ask? Okay, and if anybody would like to ask a question and put it in the chat or just come unmiked. I have a question.
Hi, this is Marilyn.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hey, Marilyn.
Real quick, Charles, thank you for your story. The one thing I want to add, and I apologize for not being on visually, but I'm on my way to an appointment for VR. But we need to be mindful that you talked about your depression, Charles, and I thank you for that. We need to make sure that we don't call this situational depression and poo-poo it and move on to something else, because it's not situational depression all the time. So just be mindful of that when we're dealing with customers who come in. We have a tendency to say, oh, it's because of your situation that you're having mental health issues. Not always. And don't go to that first. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Drive safe. Any question? I had a question, Charles, in regards to when you're talking about the coalition kind of trying to change that policy. What does that look like, or what is there support that people from the group would be able to provide, or what is that policy to get the language change or the definition changed?
Yes, so within the definition of literal homelessness that I was referring to originally, that's HUD's definition, that's above us. So that would be something us as a group, we can collectively come together to talk to government officials. So then we can try to get like a petition started to try to change that. Because when I looked, the policy was dated back for early 2000s, not even within the past 5 years. So that's why I feel as if that's most definitely. As far as now working with the coalition, so starting off, we worked on the CCP, our coordinated community plan, and which is like a very long plan of how we were going to end youth homelessness. But starting with that, because before I even worked for the coalition, I was a youth advisory board member, which you guys probably have heard throughout Houston or whatever. Excuse me. They've been doing great things throughout the community, going out to outreach, having different trainings, youth trainings, all the above. And so originally, basically last December when we first started, we started doing the coordinated community plan with the technical assistants or TAs, basically trying to see what barriers we face and how could we change that. And so that's what got my foot into the water within all of this entire program, actually, because I did go through the homeless response system and I did have a lot of barriers and I had things to say. I had a lot of things to say because things weren't right to me and things still weren't right, which is why we're creating different policies and going through so different meetings, talking to different organizations to see like what can we do to help you better with the youth? Like, what can we do? And actually speaking with the youth, giving them, well, having the youth speak to these organizations on these big meetings, actually telling them their own personal experiences. Because, like I said, the adultism thing, it does happen because majority of older adults that will want to see things one way, and they always see it that way. And so when another youth comes in do to try to basically help themselves in a way, they want to do older adults will want them to do it step by step this way, when in reality the youth has this barrier, that barrier, this and the third. So in reality they can't do it exactly like that. So it's like, don't have the adultism over them like that, you know. um and then I'm sorry, I go off on different tangents every now and again, and it just throws my mind off. But yes, as far as with the coalition and everything, so doing the CCP and then also doing our request for proposal and everything like that, like actually having the hands-on talks and meetings with the different organizations to try to break these barriers down, or try to see if we could try to find like a loophole or something, you know, or if organizations can work together, if one can just do like half a step here, then finish the steps over here or something like that. So it's all collaborating.
Thank you. Any other questions? A lot of more thank yous in the chat, Charles, and
Thank you, everybody.
everyone's
Truly.
very, looks like we have a hand up. Hey, Linda.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to thank you for sharing your story, Charles. It's very, very inspiring, and I love how it's actually, you know, affecting others in a positive way. So thank you for sharing and being part of all of this. But I love that you brought up the point about couch surfing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when we get customers at our workforce solutions offices, I'm not sure if we're not asking the right questions or asking or using the right terminology, because sometimes we find customers that are homeless, are couch surfing, which is technically homeless. But how do we ask the right questions so that they can feel like they can open up to us and tell us that they don't have the right living situation? Like, you know, you know about this, so you know the background and you know the terminology, but in your opinion, how did it help for somebody to talk to you so that you can open up to that person, if that makes sense?
Of course. Honestly, listening. Like, for me, because when people usually first meet me, I'm usually quiet, but it's not because I'm shy, it's because I'm more reserved and because I like to observe my surroundings before I actually start speaking. And a lot of people are like that. So if you are a person that, so say for instance, it was roles were switched and I was basically speaking to myself, I would come to myself with open arms and have that comfortability factor already laid out. And it's more so just like facial expressions, like the smile, eye smiling, and different gestures right there that, for one, it eases their nerves, because you see somebody smiling at you, that's instantly going to like, okay, they're nice, cool, calm, and collected. Then when you go into the conversation, you want to, it's all within your tone, of course, what you say, but it's also really how you say it. And if you come across like just asking them questions after questions after questions, then it's like, okay, I'm not here just to get answered all these questions. I'm actually here to get help. So actually having a conversation with them and actually just getting to know them and understand their story and everything like that. And you don't even have to tell them that they should tell you their entire story. Just have bits and pieces that you can put together collectively so you can get the information you need. And furthermore, it'll make them more comfortable like that for one. And then just being able to have like that good eye contact and actually like laughter, that's like one of the easiest things. Like if you can make a joke or anything like that, just laugh and you'll see like they'll be able to open up with you.
Cool, thank you for sharing. Last question.
Of
Is there
course.
any other terminology? So we heard couch surfing. Is there any other terminology that you hear that is often used with people that are homeless that don't want to say they're homeless?
Um, there is actually, my mind literally just went blank. Okay, so it's not really just a word or anything like couch safe couch surfing, we know. But then also if they're only saying like, yeah, I just stay at a friend, I'm staying with my friend right now, that right there lets you know alone, like, okay, if you're staying with a friend, so is everything good with your at your friend's house? Like, do you plan on getting like your own or do you plan on moving in together? Like what's going on with that? That's like one of the subtlest ways that majority of youth, and even I used it. Like, yeah, I'm just staying at a friend house right now. That's one of the most easiest things that a person of ages 16 up until about 25 will say, that they're just staying at a friend house right now and then try to play it off as if everything is okay. But when they say that, watch their body language because their body language tells it all, even their facial expressions as well. So when you ask them or if conversation was to come up about housing situations, watch how their body language changes because that'll tell you everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course.
Also to go back to and highlight that you have a 4.2 GPA.
Oh,
That like really stood out. That's amazing. So awesome for you.
Thank
And
you.
are you, so currently you're not in school,
No.
right? And do you have desires to go back to school or is that not the path for you?
So originally, when I was going to school, I was going to school to be an orthopedic surgeon. And then I changed my major to dermatology. And then, of course, the pandemic happened and everything, and that just derailed me all the way. So right now, put that on pause. But I would I don't know how I would say this because the career path that I want to do now is more public speaking than anything because I want to be an advocate for way more things than just homelessness, even though this homelessness advocacy is one of the most important things to me. But being an advocate for way more and just taking public speaking into more of a career, and just being able to get my voice out there for others that don't have the voice that I do.
You're a great speaker.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say,
Uh,
if you aren't interested in going back to school, you should look into Workforce Solutions because they do have a scholarship that they help with customers to continue their education.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So check out their website and for training and education. They have a lot of information there and they have funding too.
Oh, yeah. No, I love the funding. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing too.
Of course.
And we are about to go into some awesome resources on mental health. But Charles, if there's any other needs or asks or anything you're looking for too, this is a great group to ask and very supportive. So let us know what you need and we can come together with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to copy and paste all of these because these are some really nice thank yous and proud of yous in the
Thank
chat.
you.
And I hope you get to read them also.
Thank you guys for having me, truly.
Hearts and tapping. All right, it's hard to move on from that. We have to because it's part of the agenda. So thank you again, Charles. It's great meeting you, and we're glad that you're a part of the collaborative now.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
Okay, and so next, the last planning meeting we had, we went over, we're starting to talk about what our 2023 collaborative monthly meetings are going to look like. And so, you know, we love surveys. So there is a survey. It won't take just but a couple of minutes to fill out. I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I'll also put it in the recap email that's sent out. But it's just a couple questions to see if we are still on target for, and this meeting is beneficial for everybody that's attending, and we are meeting our mission and vision, which is to help come together and provide resources to the youth and organizations and school districts within our region. So I put it there. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you can't, click on it. I can just send you the questions and I can enter it for you. So just let me know. Without further ado, we will move on to our first speaker, Ms. Natasha M. Kelly Harris with Family Roots for Life. Go ahead and give it to you, and I'm going to stop sharing so you can share your screen.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Good afternoon again, everyone. As Anna mentioned, I'm Natasha Kelly Harris with Family Roots for Life. I am the founder and CEO of Family Roots, and I am going to share, won't take up too much time. I'm going to go through this presentation. I'm probably going to go through it pretty quickly, just because I know we have some others on schedule, but I won't go through this slide as well. I did list my link, digital business card link in the chat so that you can just have a little bit more information about me. However, our organization, Family Roots for Life, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based here in Texas and serving the greater Houston area. Our mission is to reunite, reconnect, and restore children, youth, and families through the provision of social, emotional, and behavioral health services with the ultimate goal of ensuring child and family well-being. Our mission at Family Roots is that every child and young adult has a secure, stable family, enabling him or her to thrive and achieve his or her full potential. And we seek to accomplish that mission and vision through implementing our values, which are ensuring healthy families, creating lifelong connections, performing what we call the heart work at Family Roots, and cultivating community through collaboration. While we have several goals at Family Roots, a few of our primary goals include, did I stop sharing? Can you guys still see my screen?
I can still see it. Oh,
I can't.
now I can.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay. Can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. My apology for that. I must have accidentally clicked something. Anyhow, our primary goals at Family Roots are to reduce the negative outcomes for those at-risk youth and those aging out of the foster care system. As we know, there's very grim statistics regarding homelessness, unemployment, incarceration, and I know I'm speaking to the choir, so I won't go through all those with you all, but our goal is to reduce those negative outcomes, also to increase the number of healthy and supportive connections that those youth have through family and community. Thirdly, to increase life skills, to prepare them for independence and self-sufficiency by providing life skills on a variety of different topics, such as communication, decision-making, financial literacy, health and safety, so on and so forth. And then fourthly, to increase family connections through connecting and reconnecting with kinship and relatives, and with the hopeful goal of restoration of disrupted family systems. Our practice perspectives at Family Roots are that we are youth focused. However, understanding the importance of family, we're also family centered, and we know that we cannot do this work alone. So we are very much community engaged and seeking to partner and collaborate with others to be able to fulfill our mission and vision. We provide a number of programs and services at Family Roots. Those include our Roots and Wings mentoring program, our Hopes and Dreams transition services, our Heartstrings family finding services. And throughout each of those, we have social, emotional, and behavioral health services interwoven throughout each of those program areas. Our first one then again is Roots and Wings, where we provide mentoring services to those transition age youth and young adults. ages 14 to 24. That includes to both males and females within the general population, with the special focus on those impacted by foster care. Our focus areas for that mentorship program are both leadership and life skills, hoping that the mentors are able to enhance the youth and young adults' life skills and teach them hands-on practical ways to implement those. And also, our mentors are safe, trained mentors who have to go through an extensive application, background check, references, interviewing, orientation, and training. And we ask that they make a minimum of a 1-year commitment. We are accepting mentee referrals. However, we ask that folks hold off till the new year, since we are getting into the end of the year now. Along with our accepting of mentees, we're also accepting mentor referrals. We are looking to assign individual mentors or family mentors to these youth and young adults. I clicked something again and now I can't see my screen. Okay, here we go. And so we are seeking mentor referrals. So if you know of anybody who would like to mentor either individuals or couples, please send them our way. Our Hopes and Dreams Again program includes the life skills training, where we do serve that same population of transition age youth and young adults. And we partner with other youth serving organizations, schools, residential facilities, and such to provide the services to those groups. We also have a partnership with our local Regions Bank, where they provide several modules around financial literacy and wellness to that same population. Again, it's the general community. I always want to make sure that we say that, not just foster care, but the general community, along with those impacted by foster care. And again, those topic areas are there below, as I mentioned earlier. In our Hopes and Dreams program, we also provide vision boarding workshops, and the purpose of those are to help youth and young adults with goal setting and envisioning their future. And so we provide some fun workshops to explore visual art and get them to thinking and dreaming about what their future could look like, and some realistic steps in achieving those goals. And then we provide our Heartstrings Family Finding Services for individuals searching for estranged family members due to involuntary separation, and also support groups for birth parents who have been involuntarily separated from their children, primarily through foster care. And here's some information and ways to get in contact with us. That concludes my presentation. Any questions?
You did really good at that. You went
Thank
through
you.
that quickly. I don't see any questions in the chat. A lot of applause hands. So currently the youth that you're serving, are you getting referrals through school districts, or what does that look like?
So it's a variety. I mean, we have worked with SIL programs, RTC programs, other child placing agencies, or I should say child placing agencies, foster care adoption organizations, schools, as well. And I should say too, just so everyone knows, we are only in our second year. We're just approaching our second year anniversary. So this was our first year of implementation of services. The first year was really just foundation building. And so we were able to establish funding through some foundations. We have a partnership with NAMI Greater Houston through the Hog Foundation. And we're looking to provide wraparound mental health and support services to transition age youth of color and their families. So if anybody wants to make referrals to us, they sure can. And somebody's asking a question in the chat: what is the biggest volunteer need you deal with at this time? It is getting those mentors. We do have the youth. We try at the end of each of our sessions through our life skills or vision boarding or whatever it is, we ask the youth if they would be interested in a mentor for those who don't already have them. And probably 99% of them say yes. And so we have the youth, and of course, it's just getting the mentors. So we are doing some outreach now to churches and other groups to recruit those mentors. No, they're not paid, and it's voluntary. And we do ask that they make at least 2 connections with the youth or young adult per month. Ideally, it would be weekly, but we ask for a minimum of 2 connections per month, at least one face-to-face, and another.
think you're,
Information back in is what somebody's asked.
yes.
I'm
And
sorry.
then also, you froze for a second, but,
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
if
I
you-
can repeat
you-
something. I'm sorry. I didn't know it.
I think it was just when you, are you able to put your contact information in the chat?
Yes, I'm gonna put my contact information in the chat again. And my apology, I didn't hear the phrase. I didn't know.
Oh, no. And then I'm not sure, did you see the question from Linda with, is this for a specific area? Or I guess which areas do you serve?
So Greater Houston, so Harris and the surrounding outlying counties. And I just added my digital business card to the chat. If you click on it, it does have links to our social media pages where you can click and follow us there. And it also has a link to our website. But I'll also put a separate link in there for our website as well.
And it looks like there's a hand up. Jennifer?
Hi there. I'm thinking about trying to create a summer program possibly for our McKinney-Vento students. Would that be something that y'all will be able to help kind of partner with us to maybe provide some services? I was thinking maybe doing like one of the workshops that you were saying about making the vision boards, or maybe possibly some of the, like a group counseling along that area. Was that something y'all could help us with?
Absolutely. Please keep us
Okay.
in mind. We have, requirements that we need to meet and obligations, not only to
Yes.
fulfill our mission, but just also with partners that we have. And we would love to be part of that. So if you will just click on that link and reach out to me that way.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you.
And Jennifer, so you're with Lamar Consolidated, is that right?
Yes, I'm with Lamar Consolidated.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Perfect.
So we're the surrounding areas.
Uh-huh. Happy to partner with you guys.
Any other questions for Ms. Natasha? No, and we will share her contact information again in the recap also. So, if you miss it here, we'll share it again. And Natasha is a huge part of our planning group too, so she's here every month if anybody needs to connect with her. Thank you again, Natasha.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
So we have next Amber Vargas.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I will keep my information really brief and kind of broad, but if you guys have specific questions, please ask me. Again, my name is Amber Vargas. I work with Harris County Resources in the Integrated Health Department, primarily with the Hay Center. My role is the therapist there. We provide free therapy for youth who have aged out of foster care within Harris County. Our services for therapy is not time limited, which is super great. So the youth are able to work on what they need in a space that's available to them for however long they need. So our services are really client driven. So if they're looking for something kind of more short term, if they're working through a crisis or need some support or coping skills, they're able to get that short-term therapy if that's what they need, or they have the option of long-term therapy if they want to work through some trauma or anxiety or depression. It's 100% client-driven. They get to choose their goals. They get to talk about what they want to talk about, and it's really a space just for them. Therapy is voluntary. No one forces them into it. They get to choose that it's something they want to do. And again, they get to create their own goals for therapy. And for the most part, this has been really different for them, or could be a very different experience from previous therapy that they may have experienced while in foster care, where it might not have been their idea to go to therapy, or they may not have had the choice to create their goals or what they could talk about. So we really hope to give them a free space to kind of work through what they need to. We offer both in-person and virtual services. So if they don't have transportation, they can't get into the office, it's completely okay. They can do a video session. They can also do a phone session. We try to be as flexible as we can. We also do have access to a Harris County psychiatrist. So if they need any medical medicine management for anxiety, depression, whatever, they are able to get medication management as well. We're really here just to meet the youth's needs and meet them where they're at in any capacity that we can, and be a support. We tend to get our referrals through the Hay Center, through a few independent living programs, but we're really open to any youth who's aged out of foster care within Harris County and some surrounding counties as well. Anna, what I can do is I can send you a brochure and our referral form. And if you could just send it out to everyone, that would be perfect. But yeah, that's a brief overview of what I do. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions for Amber? And Amber, has this always been a service that's available, or is this something new?
This has been, from my understanding, I've been working here for a year. It's kind of a new program through Harris County that they have available. And it's going to be ongoing. So we do have a few therapists that offer services.
And I know that it's for aged out foster youth. Is there any kind of age limit, or is it all ages?
So I am both. I'm funded, my position is funded through the county, but also through a grant. And our grant stops at 26. However, I feel like if there is a youth that needs it that's past that, I think we'd be able to serve them as well.
Okay, this is great. And then, so you said the medication, so the medication would be covered also if someone is in need of?
Well, the actual medication, I'm not sure. I think that would have to be covered through them, but seeing the psychiatrist would be a free service. And I do think there are some programs that can help cover medications, but I don't believe that's 100% covered.
So is this service available for any other counties? And this is, hi, Barbara. So Barbara, you're coming from Galveston County, right? Or you're?
So
Yes.
it is funded through Harris County. Like I said, though, we tend to try to help in any way we can. So if there was a youth that's in another county, we would try to provide services or at least help get them connected to someone who could.
All right, no more questions for Amber. Thank you for being here today, Amber, and sharing and being part of the collaborative.
Thank you.
So we will move on to, is Tyrell here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for being here today. Is my camera on? It is not. Here we go. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyrell Green. I am the outreach coordinator for Life Enhancement Services. Before I get into a little bit about what we do, I did want to take a moment to say that we are moving into the holiday seasons, and we're really already in the holiday season. So Please check on those around you. Please just keep an eye out for any changes in behaviors. We do realize that, every year someone is celebrating their holidays just a little differently than they may have, the year before. And it's something that we have to be really aware of, and just providing that social support for our families. So Life Enhancement Services, we are a behavioral health agency. We provide therapy and mentorships to children and adults here in Houston. We are a Medicaid-based service, so there's no out-of-pocket cost as long as you have Medicaid. We do not have any self-pay or private insurances at the moment. The insurances we do accept are Texas Children, Community Health, United Healthcare, Molina, and Superior Health Plan. And we are a community-based organization, so we provide all of our services in the community, whether that's meeting our clients or families at their homes. We can do services inside of their schools, and oftentimes just out in the community, we can meet you anywhere that you feel comfortable. The clientele, the population that we work with, we start with the ages of 4 at the very, very lowest. Typically, we don't do 4, but in certain situations, we are able to go as low as 4, and we go all the way up to 63. So once our, clients leave the Medicaid age, we are no longer able to serve them. Again, we are Medicaid insured, but I do want to let people know that although we only provide services through Medicaid, often we see our families, maybe the children will have Medicaid and the mothers or the grandparents will not have Medicaid. We like to, incorporate the entire family into the services. So if that, their immediate family members do not have the insurances, we're able to craft our sessions with the children or with the adults to fit anyone who is in the household. Typically, when we are getting our clients, they are coming to us with concerns, mental and behavioral health concerns. Typically, we don't have any high level diagnoses coming in. We want to be more of a preventative measure for a lot of our families. And as far as the areas that we work in, it is Houston, Greater Houston, and those surrounding areas. We've done work as far as Galveston, Baytown, Katy, Conroe. Most of our clients are in the Greater Houston area. So when we look at the things that we work on things like anger management, depression, anxiety, grief counseling, things of that nature. We do not specialize in substance abuse, but a few of our clinicians have, experience with substance abuse, and we're able to pair our families up with those clinicians who can help them the best. And when I think about, our services, we have the Hay Center, we have Family Roots Just Speak. I never want to make anybody think that there's only one option. My goal is just to provide the awareness, the knowledge of the opportunities that our families have out in the community. So I want everyone, to just know that we want to work together. Everyone wants to work together. And if one situation is not good for our families, we like to refer out. Some organizations are, better equipped than ours to handle certain situations. And the importance of our services, they is not specific to just life enhancement services. So we have 4 pillars that we look at when we're looking at the importances of our services, and that's to promote emotional health. The emotional health is a very important part of our overall health, and people who are emotionally healthy they're in control of their thoughts, their feelings, their behaviors. They're also able to cope with life's challenges as well as keep problems in perspective and bounce back from setbacks. They feel good about themselves and they have good relationships with those in their ecosystems. In order to achieve that level of emotional health, our services help our families express, their feelings in appropriate ways, manage their stress, find purposes and meaning, and stay positive. Another thing that we promote is our client-centered services. So we understand that everyone's situation is different. Our schedules change, our needs increase, our comfortability varies. Our services are tailored to fit the individual needs of our family. So we work around their schedule. We meet you where you are most comfortable. We pair you with a clinician who is culturally similar as well as geographically similar, all in the effort to deliver these high quality services. We want to promote our internal healing. So from the changes in your eating habits to practicing mindfulness exercises, we strive to heal our clients from the inside out. So before you're able, to enact change on the world, we have to be right within. And the last thing that we stress is our personal growth. So whether you're wanting to advance in your career, continue your education, even if it's just being more active in your community, we're able to provide those different avenues to achieve our goals through our case management, through our partners in the community. We don't turn anyone down. We always make sure that they are taken care of and they are set on the path that they're willing to take. So I will put a little bit of my information or contact information in a flyer in the chat box. If anybody, needs outreach services, if you need people to set up tables at your event, if you have families who you think could use our services, feel free to reach out. We're always available. I'm always available on my cell phone. Just give me a call whenever. Anna, thank you for giving me a little bit of time today to, talk about our services. And I hope to hear from some of you all soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing kind of short notice. So definitely want to include life enhancement services. Does anybody have questions? I have a quick question for you. What is the majority? How are you getting your referrals, or where are you?
So it's definitely varies. I work with a lot of different organizations. So we do get them from the schools, we get them from CPS, even through relationships with our insurances, Texas Children and United. They give me calls all the time when they're advocating for their clients. And then just within the community, word of mouth, people will see me more in the community than they'll see me online. So I'm able to really, get into the communities, get to those who have the, the pull in the community, the leaders of those communities, and through that they're able to disseminate. So it could be through churches, different after school programs. But I realized that we couldn't focus on one area to get, to cast our net over this whole city. So I kind of chip away at anything that I can. And it's, not always going to be like a flood of referrals coming in from one organization or something. It might be one or two, but as long as we provide the services correctly, those two individuals will refer out to their two friends. And then it'll just kind of be like a domino effect from there.
And it looks like there's a question. Who has their hand? Sierra, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Green. I'm one of the clinical coordinators in Region 6. I used to work with you all a little bit when I was a caseworker. I wanted to ask you, would you all be, because right now we're setting up therapy for our CWAP locations. Right now we focused on Region 6B, and we have a few providers for that area. And so we just was taking it sort of slow. For Region 6A, would y'all be open to assisting us in seeing some of those youth and child watch at certain locations?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's, like I said, we try not to, turn anybody down. As long as the logistics looks good. We are mobile, so we're able to pretty much go anywhere. But if that's something that you're looking for, we can definitely assist you with that.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
good to know because we are working on that. We just taking one region at a time. And so
Yeah.
that's good to know. Y'all can assist us with that. Region 6A has a lot of locations. So, that would be something that, of course, if you all can't, we might have to do, a few extra providers, but, we just want to make sure we have some stable service providers that can see our kids at
Yes,
those
ma'am.
locations. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Terrell, this is Lord. Is there an age limit for your program?
We are 4 to 64.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Like, no. And I think Terrell's gonna put his info in the chat, and then again, I'll share it in the recap box so y'all have his contact information. All right, and that's really a wrap for this this month. Our next meeting is December 12th. And so what the team came up with is we'll kind of do a year in review. We'll do a interactive game, try and kind of make it fun, do a little holiday party, but also sharing information and all of the resources that we've learned about over the last year. So if you have any additional resources, if you have any holiday events coming up, we'd love to share that with the group, share that out. And yeah, otherwise we'll see you December 12th. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Atasha. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Tyrell. And definitely thank you, Charles. See y'all next month, okay? Take care.
Thank you.